Hello friends, welcome back. Let's now discuss about the practical aspect of creating physical standby. So we will be setting up a physical standby and there will be two nodes in two single instances. Okay. If anybody of you have not followed the theoretical part of creating physical standby and pre-installation and whatever is required to set up a physical standby at your home lab as well, please follow along with my step-by-step documentation as well as step-by-step videos. Okay, from 1 to 8, this is the ninth video, so let's move on. So before starting the setup, let's see what are the plans. Let me minimize this. So for Oracle Data Guard setup, what we have already completed, so I will make it bigger. We have already completed the installation of Oracle Linux on virtual machine with two VMs. We have completed the OS level prerequisites again on two VMs, set up Oracle ASM disks, install the grid infrastructure software. We have installed the database software, okay, on two VMs, but we have installed database on primary. So this will become our base. We will now have to start setting up the physical standby, and for that we have to do some activities on the primary database and do some activities on the standby database, right? Eventually we will be starting the redo apply. Okay, so what we need to do, so this is the step one. We will follow step by step what we need to do to set it up. So what first we have to do is to set up the network configuration. We need to set up we have to verify the network configuration checks. For that we have to verify the /etc/hosts file and make sure these two entries are there. These two entries are the primary and the standby databases. Okay, this will become standby database and this will be primary. So let me open up my SSH client tool and start setting it up. For that I have to connect to the root account. I have connected to one. I have to connect it to other one as well. I have to validate if everything is fine. Okay, so let's check. So everything is there for me. If you don't have that, use VI editor, okay, to complete this section. I'll check here as well. This has to be there. Okay, these entries must exist, otherwise the data guard setup will fail. Now let's go on and check if archive mode is enabled. For that we need to use archive log list. I'll copy this. Okay, now we don't have to use root, we will use the. So first of all, let's check the process before connecting. Okay, the primary database is up. We'll do ORINV and we'll say primary SQL plus /s switchdba archive log list to check the archiving. Okay, so archiving is enabled, but what we need to make sure that for this specific parameter, okay, for log archive dest1 we have to set up the db recovery file dest. Okay, so currently it is show parameter db underscore recovery. So it is set up as a plus fra. We need to actually modify it. Okay, and we need to make sure this the log archive dest. So what is this? So db recovery is the location for setting up, okay, or taking the backup of the database, right? When you take the backup, all the backups will be located at plus fra. For archive log destination, to store the redo logs, right? After the redo log switch, the redo logs will be backed up into the same location. It is saying use db recovery file dest, right? It means that it will be also be using plus fra, but we don't want to use both of them at the same place, right? Let's actually make sure that everything is separate. Okay, for the activities we need to perform for the standby database, as well as to configure Oracle Data Guard. So we need to make sure these two are not at the same location, and for that, first of all, we need to check the log mode. It is in archive log. We already checked it. It is in archive log mode. What we need to do is change the location of archive log location, right? For log archive destination, need to change it to this one, not use db recovery file dest. Okay, so it's done. So I'll give you details again if you got confused in what I am saying. What I was trying to say is, currently the log archive dest one is not set up at all, right? And to configure the Oracle Data Guard, you need to make sure the log archive dest is set up. But here, while installing the database, right, I use the check mark to check that please enable the archive log, okay, and use the archiving location as the same as what the location of db recovery file dest, right? So now the backup as well as the archive logs backup will be pointing to the same location. I don't want that, and for that reason I am actually modifying it and point it to the log archive dest one. Okay, so that any archiving generator archive logs generated, right, will be generated in this particular location. Okay, and it will be pointing to this location. Okay, so what I will say, show parameter. So now it is fine. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see the step what we need to follow. Let me clear the screen, host clear. We need to enable the force logging mode. Why force logging is needed, we already discussed about it. Force logging is needed when there are many operations in the database where there is no logging operation can be enabled, like create table or alter table, where you can state that no logging, and the operations, when you create table, the operations performed during the create table will not be logged. Developers usually use that operation to make sure the performance is not impacted while creating the table. But in the data guard environment, because data guard relies on the logs generated from the activities, you cannot use no logging method, and for that you need to enable the force logging. Okay, so let's check the force logging if it is enabled on the primary or not. It is not enabled. Let's enable the force logging. So now it is enabled. Good, let's move on. Now we need to create the standby redo log, right? And now you must be asking that why we need redo logs on the primary, right? You must have a question about that, why we are creating redo logs on the primary itself. This is the reason why we are creating redo logs on the primary, because in the case of, in the scenario of failover or switchover, in future the primary will become standby, right? And then it will be using the standby redo logs. For that reason we have to create redo logs on both primary and standby. But during the arm duplication, everything will be duplicated, and standby redo log files will automatically be created in the standby. So you don't need to worry to create the redo logs in there in the standby. Let's check the details first. Okay, there are 3 groups, one file each in each one of them. Let's check the thread. This is primary with thread 1. When you run the same command in when you run command in 202, you will see thread 2, right? So you will see thread 2 here. but currently the database is not running, so there is no meaning of running this command. Okay, so that's done. We are just doing the performing the activities on primary. Now let's create the standby redo logs on FRA location. Just a second. Okay, so let's create it. You just need to run it. So four redo log, extra four redo log standby redo logs are created. Let's check using this particular dynamic performance views, that is v dollar standby underscore log. Okay, it is still unassigned. Okay, we are not currently doing anything with that. So these are 1 2 3 and then 4 5 6 7. Okay, so 7 of them, in which 4 of them are the standby redo logs. Now we need to set up some initialization parameters. We already talked about in the complete details of what all initialization parameters we need to set up. So here dgconfig is the very important parameter, where you need to mention which all databases are taking part in data guard environment. So we need to run that. This is dynamic parameter. It will immediately affect the current running instance as well as the sp file. That's done. Now you need to run this log archive -2 as well, which is pointing to the standby. Okay, it means that whatever logs are generated will be automatically sent to the standby location, and this will be only sent when this particular database from where you are running the command or running the database, which is behaving as primary and which is saving online redo logs files, which makes sense because currently we are setting this parameter on the primary database itself. For that reason, it will be connecting to the standby and it will be using the async method. Async method being a primary database will not wait for acknowledgement from the standby database, and it will immediately commit. And discussing on what does this mean, it means that if you are primary, which we are, and which if you are saving online redo log file, which we are doing. Okay, so if both of these statements are true, then you should be sending the redo logs to the standby database. Okay, where the db unique name for the standby database is standby again. Scope is both because this is a dynamic parameter again. So just run it. It will immediately affect current running instance as well as the sp file. Let me clear the screen. Now you have to make sure to run this archive lag target as 1800. Scope equals to both, to force the primary database to keep on switching the log files. In real environment, it depends on the project as well. Okay, switching the log files is kind of resource intensive, so it depends on the project, right, what is needed. You need to flashback enable the flashback database as well, in case if primary fails and now the standby becomes primary, right? And in case there is a transaction which was currently going on primary, and suddenly the primary failed, right? There can be chances where many transaction was in the mid of committing or either have committed and are in the RAM, right? So the records which are saved in the database but are not yet committed, you want them to be rolled back, right? And some of them which are committed but they are still not saved in the data files has to be rolled forward, so that they must exist in the data files. And for that reason, flashback database must be enabled in this data guard environment, so that both databases, right, the new primary and the old primary, must be in sync, right? For that reason, the flashback database is required. So let's run it. Need to enable the record keep time as well. control file record keep time actually keeps track of the backups happening in the databases, right? If you make it very small, because the control file is tracking all the backups, and if you haven't set up the recovery catalog, there are chances where the older records will be flushed out if you haven't properly set up the record keep time. Clear. Host clear. This must be exclusive 100%. Yeah, let's set up the file server. Let's check the standby file management need to be auto. I will be attaching this documentation, okay, for your help. Now we need to find out the list of directories which we need to create on the standby, okay? We need to make sure that it also exists on the standby, like a dump and c dump, right? Core dump and audit dump. So these two locations, you don't need to worry about these two, but you need to worry about this one and this one, okay? So let's create these rather than waiting for it. mkdir-p. All locations must exist, because eventually the RMN will be using the backups, right? And copying the all files from primary to the standby and then recovering it, restoring and recovering it. So you need to make sure that directories exist. Otherwise, while transferring, because it has the information about its directories, right? If it doesn't find the same type of directories in the standby, then it will cause problems. Just a second. So sorry, you need to ignore that. What we need to create is, we need to mention this as standby. I accidentally created as primary. So what I will do, I will mkdir-p and I'll copy it until here, paste. The name must be according to the database, right? Okay, so this, please ignore these two. I accidentally created it. You have to make sure you create according to your database name, okay? So let's move on. So that part is done. Let's check if the password file is there. Yeah, password file is here. Okay, if it is not that, you have to create it, okay, using Aura PW utility. Now we need to modify, we need to make sure to configure the tnsnames.aura file. Why this is needed? Because you have to connect from standby to primary, right, and run the RMN duplication, and for that reason you have to set up the tnsnames.aura on both the server, right? These entries must exist on both servers. So I'll just copy this. I'll go to cd $oracle home network /admin, okay, vi tnsnames.aura. What I will do, either I will comment it, I don't need to worry about these. I'll enter it and paste it, okay. although the entry of this was correct, but that's fine. So we have correct record everywhere. Okay, now you have to configure the static listener on the standby. This is according to the Oracle documentation. Currently the listener is running on primary, but it is not running on standby because the database is still not up. Okay, but let's check the listener. Now the question is, where does the listener runs from? What environment variable you have to set up to check the LSNR-CTL utility? So the answer is in grid environment, in grid infrastructure environment. You have to set up the environment variable of grid. Okay, grid home or INV plus ASM. It runs from the grid home, not the Oracle home. LSNR-CTL status. Okay, so the listener is running fine. Here the listener is listener, and it has registered registration with the primary local domain services. Okay, so everything looks fine here. But now let's see on this end. Let's go to first Oracle home network. So Oracle base product network admin. Let's check. So no listener file, lsnrc, sorry, listener listener.aura. I'll just copy and paste this. Okay, this is static listener. When you use this sid listener, okay, and then mention the global db name as well as the Oracle home, this becomes a static listener. I have given the listener name as listener, so I'll copy and paste it. And I also know that there is no tns names.aura file, and vi tns. And the thing is, let me check if the tns names.aura file exists. Vi tns names.aura. We need to copy this as well, make an entry. Okay, so everything is fine. Now we have to start the listener. So what you need to do, lsnrctl start. So .aura env plus asm. Did we configure the listener in the proper location? I don't think so, right? No, so we did not. So what we need to do, cancel it, ls-al, and we have to move these files. Sorry, mv listener.aura and tns names.aura to /oracle/grid base grid home network admin .aura env. So you must have understood what I did here. I did slight steps incorrectly. We haven't, or I haven't set up the directory structure properly, or the environment variable properly. Oracle home ls cd network admin cat listener.aura cat tns names.aura. Okay, so let's check if we can start it. lsn nrctl status. So currently status is running, and which is registered with listener is running, which is registered with the older one, right? And it is running from the grid home. We have to stop and start the static listener. Just a second. So lsnrctl stop ls and rct ttl start. I think there is an issue. And the issue must be, so see, these are the small stuff which can create problem. Echo dollar oracle home. Okay, so I think the home is the issue. So ls-al vi listener.ora. I think the oracle home is the issue. Grid slash home slash 12. What am I doing? Am I right here? Yeah, let's check if we can start it. Yeah, we have started it. The static listener is started. The path was incorrect. So now let's check the process. Pmon is fine, and we can check the TNS as well. Okay, so the listener is running, so that's fine. So we have listener running. One dynamic listener is running from the primary, and the static listener is running from the standby. So now we can use the TNS ping. Okay, so TNS ping primary, it went fine. Okay, and 0 millisecond. Standby, the spelling mistake, everything is fine. We need to use the TNS ping from here as well. TNS ping primary standby, let's do good, and primary. So everything is fine. If you guys have any issues in regarding to using the TNS ping and you're getting some errors, make sure that you have firewall which is turned off, right? If the firewall is on, you won't be able to ping each other even though you have configured everything properly. So firewall needs to be off. Now there are some steps which we need to complete. Okay, otherwise the duplication fails. So what we need to configure is we need to make sure to create a P file in primary and point the SP file in the ASM disk group, because it happens that when we run the armand duplication, right, the armand duplication goes and checks on the primary and tries to find out the SP file, and by that it actually finds the parameters under it, right, that what are the data file location as well as log file location and everything, right, which are there in parameters. But usually when running the armand duplication, it somehow fails because it is not able to find the SP file, and for that there is a way to solve this problem is by creating the P file and pointing the P file to the location of the SP file, okay, in the disk group. So how we can do this is by using login to the primary database first. SQL plus slash shdba show parameter SP file. So it is located here, right? Let's copy it here. Let's make a note. Okay. Now exit it dot or cd dot cd dot cd dbs vi init primary dot aura just a second. Yeah, so let's do it. Sp file equals, let's copy the location. So during the arm and duplication, it will try to find out sp file. It won't be able to find it here. It will try to find out the init parameter file, right? As soon as it finds it, it will see the value and it will locate the sp file, and that's how it will move on with the duplication. Okay, so this part is done. So we will list it. Now so there are some steps which are needed to be completed on the standby. The directory dependent parameters. So we have already created some directories. Okay, as we already know about it, we created some directories, right, initially. Where? Here. Yeah, so that part is done. Let me clear the screen. So leave this whatever here. Now create some directories under the data disk group in the standby, so that during the arm and duplication the files will be copied to the specified location. So what happens is, initially what arm and duplication will do, it will go to the primary, it will take the files, it will copy the files into the standby location, right? Whatever it has in the parameters, it will copy everything to the standby, to the primary first, and then it will restore to the standby. So copy will be done on the primary, and then eventually will be stored on the standby. For that reason, we have to create two directory locations. So we have to do plus asm on the standby, use the asm cmd, okay, ls cd data pwd. Okay, we are in the data disk group. Now we have to run these two. Now list it. Al does not work, you can just run l, and there is standby. Okay, rm -rf standby mkdir standby ls-l. Now everything looks fine. I have to correct it here, standby. Yeah, so this is fine. Now we have to create an init parameter as well on the standby, and this will have only one value, okay, which will be pointing to the primary database. So let's exit out of this and let's go to cd dbs. We have to cd/oracle base product dbs. As we all know, the Oracle home slash dbs location is where in the single instance environment the sp file is located, the init file is located, as well as password file is located. Okay, so this is where the Oracle database looks. So the naming convention is init standby.aura with the name of the standby database. Okay, this cannot be init.aura, it will be init Oracle sid.aura. And then what you need to mention here is, just copy this and paste it here. Okay, it should be pointing to the standby. This points to the primary and not to the standby, so please remember, that's what I put the note as well. And let's check the aura tab file as well. Usually what I do is, I configure the Aura tab file as well. Usually the Aura tab file is configured after during the installation of database. Okay, but I will configure this to set up environment variables properly every time. So what will be the Oracle home, Oracle slash base product 1220 slash db colon, and everything is fine. Now we have to copy the password file from primary to standby. So for that I have made this command as well. So this will directly work. Just copy and paste it. So this is copied. We are in the correct location. Let's move this file to the correct naming convention. This should be Aura PW standby. Okay, let's list it. That is done. We have already created TNS names file as well as a listener file. Listener is working fine. Okay, we already discussed about that grid listener runs from the grid home, not Oracle home. Let's start the standby instance in nom out. And one important thing, there are chances where this particular during the arm and duplication something can fail, right? So don't worry about it. I will give you a clear idea of how we can resolve everything. So let's go through one by one. Okay, so now we need to start the instance in nom out. So we have prepared everything. So what we have done, let's go up again and let's discuss everything before we start the duplication. So we have installed the Oracle on Linux on virtual machine. We have completed OS level prerequisites. Okay, for the two virtual machine we have created ASM to store the databases. We have installed the grid software. We have installed the database software, and we have just created the database. This is the base we have created, right, to practice at home. Now we have configured the /host etc/host file to make sure point to the correct IP addresses, and then we have enabled the archiving. We have set up the force logging. We have enabled the force logging. We have created 4 redo log files. We have queried that as well. Then we have set up some data guard related initialization parameters so that data guard primary database can point and send the redo logs generated on the primary to send it to the standby. Then we have forced the log to switch at each interval, right? We have enabled the flashback database. We have set up the control file record keep time. We validated the remote login. Okay, so everything is on the primary. We have checked the file server. We have make sure the standby file management is auto. We have validated on the primary that what all directory dependent parameters are there. Okay, so we needed to make sure these are noted and then created on the standby as well, so that during the arm and duplication nothing gets messed up, right? Now we have checked if the password file is available. It was available during the database installation. Everything was set up properly. Then we have configured some network related stuff like tnsnames.aura listener, static listener we have created on standby. We have validated using the TNS pings. Now coming on the standby, okay, we have for the arm and duplication related stuff, we have created a init parameter file and then made sure that it points to the sp file, okay, residing on the disk group. On standby, we have created 2 directory under the data disk group for the migration, right? And then we have created initialization parameter file on the standby and pointing it to primary so that we can run the arm and duplication. We copied the password file. We validated tnsnames.aura if it exists or not, or if we would have created it, but we have already created it earlier, so don't need to worry about it. We have checked the listener is running fine. We already validated it. Now the important thing is we need to start up the we have to start up the standby instance in no mount, okay, because the data file and control file doesn't exist, so you can only no mount the database, right? Because you have an init parameter file, you still don't have sp parameter file which will be copied from primary, okay, and will be modified eventually. But currently what you have done is we have created an init parameter file in the standby, okay, and we have just put one value where db name equals primary, right? And when we will run the rman duplication, the primary will copy and everything, and it will rman will restore and set up everything for you, okay. Now for starting up the database in no mount state, you need to make sure to point the oracle home location to the standby location, right? And for that reason I have modified the oratab file. You should also do this, I would recommend, otherwise this value won't exist and you have to run you have to modify the parameter using the echo command, okay. So let's do it. The environment variable is set up, so we will no mount. Let's see, everything goes fine, okay. So we have no mounted it. Now we have to connect to the primary database, right? So what we are saying, rman target sys using the tns name descriptor primary. So our target is from where the duplication will start is target being the primary database, okay. So we are saying rman target using the sys and the password and the tns descriptor, and the auxiliary will be this current database, okay, standby database. I'll clear the screen and then run. Now there is an error which is thrown. What can be the reason? Just a second. So now it's corrected, okay. So the issue was that, let me go back, or rather the issue was, I'll connect to another session rather than disconnecting this. So the issue was, I pull this here. So when we set up the environment variable, right, for the ASM and go to the Oracle grid home CD network admin, what I did mistake was that on listener file, the listener file had the Oracle home as grid home, okay. It has to be the database home. For that reason everything was failing. So you need to also make sure that this has to be corrected, okay. So these are the small mistakes, but mistakes are fine if you learn from it. So this looks fine. What we need to run is, just a second, let me go down to our location. Now we have to run this complete script. What it is saying is run in a block, okay, run block with bracket open and closed. These are the curly braces. So you have to allocate 3 channels in which there are 2 normal channels, and then there will be one auxiliary channel, okay. Auxiliary channel will run on standby database, and one channel will which will be running on the primary database, okay, so that it can use 2 threads or 2 processes, okay, to run this specific task of running the rman duplication. And you have to run duplicate target database for standby from active database, okay, sp file unidb. After the taking the backup and transferring the file to the standby, you will say that you need to set the db unique name to standby. You need to set up the control file into this location plus data standby, and okay, because we made this directory, so you have to do that. you have to set up the db create file dash to plus data, so that all the database files will be set up into plus data. And what this OMF based file system will do is Oracle will look into renaming and as well as creating the directory under the plus data, and it will create a subdirectory with the db unique name, and then it will store all the data files accordingly. Okay, the redo log files online redo log files dest will be in the plus FRA and plus data, so it will multiplex, right? So it will create redo log groups in this and as well as this. Okay, it will set the db recovery file dash to FRA. It will set up the db recovery file dash size to 10 gig. It will set the audit file dash to this, which we created already, created the directory, right? And this, and then done. Okay, which we will run directly, and let's hope everything goes fine. If it throws error, then we will look into it. So it will do everything, right? It will copy, Arman will copy everything from primary. It will take the backup and put that into the standby location. Okay, it will restore and recover the files into the specific location. It will start the instance, start the database. It will do everything. Okay, it's just mere 3 to 4 minutes or less than that. You see, it is starting the backup from the primary for the data files, and it will rename as well eventually. See, it has started renaming it, and it has completed the record. Okay, it has stored the file into the plus data standby data files. This is OMF based. Okay, so the cloning has completed. You will now see that there is a database running. So it was fast process. The thing is that running the Arman duplication is easy, but the thing is setting up and prepping up everything does takes a lot of time. Okay, when you run standby SQL plus slash shdba, okay, select name from v dollar data file. Okay, so everything is running, so we are all good here. Let's complete by validating the redo log files, and we have already validated data files, right? Let's validate the standby log. So see, it has copied it here as well. Now you see that everything got multiplexed, right? The standby got multiplexed with 8. You need to delete it. You don't need that much. So for that, let's first see the location of the files. What I will do, I'll start deleting all these with plus data. Okay, we'll just leave FRA once. So you need to make sure whatever you're dropping, do it properly. Okay, so run this statement, put that in quote. So let's delete the first one, the fourth one. Now copy this, paste it, and now delete this fifth one. Now copy this sixth one, and then final seventh, right? We don't need that much, because we already have a primary database, right? And everything is getting copied to standby database. So it's not very dangerous to have everything multiplexed. It's not required actually. It's not critical to save that into 2 files, kind of multiplexing it. It's not required. So everything is deleted now. When you run this again, you will see that only files with FRA location is there, and when you run this again, you will see that the required files are now available. Okay, so everything is good. Now we have to set up some parameters on the standby as well. Okay, like file client, file server, log archive config, as well as the standby redo for standby file management, as well as the log archive -2 parameters, right? To make sure that when switchover or failover happens, your standby database will start behaving as primary, right? For that you have to set up. I'll run everything together. Now we have to start the apply process. As soon as you start the apply process, MRP, you will see the MRP process, right? We have learned about MRP and LSP process. So let me host clear and we will run this. Need to check what mode the current database is in, and it will be in mount state. So select open mode from v$database. Okay, the database is in mount state. That's fine. You have to run this. Alter database, recover, manage standby database, disconnect. Okay, this is done. Let's check the process. Let's first check the sequences. Okay, these are the current sequence of the thread. Okay, the archive logs which is generated. Let me clear the screen and we'll connect. Archive log list. Let's see what all archive logs are generated. See, 9th, okay, is the oldest log. This is the current log, so 9 and 10th must be there, so it's there, right? Now alter system switch log file. Sorry, the spelling mistake. We will switch 2 times and you will see the 2 more files will be available here. 11 and 12 come up here, right? Immediately copied archive log list. So see, the current log is 13, but the oldest log is 11, 12, and the most oldest one is 9 and 10th. So now you can see that most clear. Let's clear the screen. And what we have done is we have altered the log file and we have switched it, okay, and we validated it on the standby. Let's check the processes and you see that MRP process is started, okay, and this is the current log sequence, the 13th, right? Now the later steps we will perform in the next video. The thing is that this video has already become so long. Okay, hope everyone enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe my videos, and please help my channel to grow, and as well as please learn from here and then do a good interviews, right? So everyone enjoy. Thank you very much for watching.